What is going on, guys? Craig 1287 here, bringing you some Battlefield 3, pretty much a shooting guide. This is kind of a request by one of my subscribers, and actually a lot of you have just kind of been asking these sorts of things as private messages and comments on some of the videos, just, commenting, how I do my aiming, things like that. So this is a completely unscripted video. I have absolutely nothing really prepped, so I'm just going to kind of wing it and just give you guys some details on my thought processes and things like that. So first off, this is mostly for a PC type of thing. You console guys can't really do too much. I never really noticed the water actually looks cool on this. You console guys can't really do too much customization on this, but for PC guys, you can go into your settings and go to the video tab and customize this. You have to have this exactly how you want it. Things like field of view are going to affect the way that your movement is, and when you're scoped in, it'll affect the way that things aim, and it'll affect your sensitivity. Things like your resolution. If you change your resolution, it's going to change the size of your screen, and therefore the rate at which you turn when you're moving your mouse and things like that. You need to make sure your brightness is exactly what you want. Vertical sync, I suggest to always turn that off. Having that on makes the game look smoother. It makes it so that there's no breakage between the frames, but what it introduces is something called mouse lag, and this means that when you're moving your mouse, there is a split second, just milliseconds, between the actual mouse movement and when that actually happens and the effect happens on screen that you see. So make sure that is off if you can. If it's something you don't notice, then have VSync on, because it does make the game look better. Things like motion blur, I have that off. It's great for YouTube videos because YouTube is only 30 frames per second, so it makes the videos look smoother. But in terms of actual playing and things like that, it's another graphical effect that your graphics card has to compute for, so it'll give you a little frame rate boost, but also it blurs things. So when you're turning really quick and you need to notice those subtle changes of someone hiding and camping up inside of walls and rubble and things like that, you don't want things to be blurry. You want to see as much pixel change that you can. Things like colorblind support, a lot of you guys have commented on that. I use it. I have it on in any game most games that support it, not because I am colorblind. I actually have very good detection of colors and differential detection with my eyes, but the colors that are used are for people that have difficulty of noticing differences between certain colors. So the differences in colors that they use for this colorblind mode are more drastic, and when you want to see things like things such as little markers that would show up over your teammates' heads, or these markers that are going to be over objectives, whether it be a friendly blue marker that is for defending, and just things like that, when you have all these smoke effects getting up in the way, and when there's this gigantic sun blocking the view, and when you're looking through trees and buildings and people deploy smoke, and the game kicked me. Oh, it's going to a new one. All right, well, I'll keep talking. So when you're looking through all of these different things that the game has, all these effects, it helps just, that extra little split second that it takes for your eyes and your brain to identify this is that objective, this is a friend, not an enemy. Every little bit helps. All right. Now, like I was saying, going into your settings, make sure that these settings over here are exactly what you want them to be. Not just to get the best frame rate, but exactly what you want. Mesh quality, you're going to want that at ultra. Do what you can to get that to ultra, because that's the way in which things are going to appear off in the distance. And again, if I want to see some dudes that's hiding behind that brush right there, I really want to be able to see his that mesh of that player being generated the best that I will be able to see him. All right, so you want that to be on ultra so you can see things that are off in the distance. And moving on, things like I said, motion blur, have that off. Anisotropic filter, always have this at times 16. Never go with any of these lower qualities or anything like that. Because this has almost no performance hit, and it really, really helps things to look better as they transition into getting closer to your screen. Ambient occlusion, that deals with shadows, turn that off. It's just a performance hog, really, but it honestly doesn't add much tactically to your ability to play. Shadow, I only have it medium just because I do want some shadows in there, because, if someone's hiding behind something, I want to be able to see their shadows and things like that. But I don't want my shadows to be that drastic, because it actually kind of helps when they have a blocky look, it makes it a little better to identify those shadows than if they're really smooth shadows. That's as much as I can explain for that, guys. It's just that's how my eyes work and pick things up. So some of these things I could have at Ultra, but really I don't actually want that much detail going on. I mean, I want them to look decent enough to where I can identify changes, but I don't want too much going on because it's just too much information for your brain and your eyes to process. So you want some of these textures and things going on to be just simple enough to where it makes it the best and easiest for you to notice that's a person or that's just this little block in the wall, things like that. So go through these and just mess with them. Do what I'm doing right now. I'm in an empty server and just mess with them, run around and see what things look like and see what you want these things to look like and just get this exactly how you want it. All right, now let's get into the actual aspects of shooting, and I'm kind of bummed because I had a nice spot over there where I was going to do some of my recoil tests and all that thing. So yeah, let's just do what we can right here. We got this little box. That's a good target. That's a little larger than the width of a player in the game, but still gives us a good thing. Hey, we can test it out on this wall as well. So all right. Like I said, find an empty server, get in it, and just mess with some weapons. I am currently the support player only because all I'm going to be doing is shooting people. I can't go pick up kits, or I'm just going to be shooting bullets. I can't pick up kits because I'm in an empty server. I am alone. Wait, there's a rank 100 guy in here. All right, well, hope he doesn't piss me off and kill me. And I just want to be able to toss out my ammo and resupply myself as I shoot. So yeah. You guys need to go and check out some of these sites that collect statistics on how these guns perform. The key things that you want to pay attention to are the rate of fire, the amount of recoil, and the amount of bullet bloom. All right, the bloom is probably the most complicated one. Recoil is something that you can manage and things like that and get used to, but bloom is one of the ones that you really got to pay attention to. All right, so let's say that that's a human over there. All right, let's just go full auto. I'm going to start looking at the base of it, and I'm just going to hold down the trigger and not try to account for any recoil, bloom, or anything like that. Alright, well, this is a support gun, so at some point they actually get to that point where they no longer recoil. All the LMGs have that. And so, if you notice, it mostly went vertical, but there was some right movement to it. And if I were to zoom in and get a little closer, you can see a little bit more. Notice how it stays kind of tight and then it spreads out. So that's why you don't go full auto, is because the bullets start to spread out. It doesn't matter that it's kicking the gun up, because I can easily just compensate that by pulling down. Let's go on this one. Let's pull down. Notice how I kept my crosshairs, my aiming reticle in that box the entire time, but look how much it spreads out, guys. That is what is killing some of these people. They just don't know about the whole bullet bloom. Every time you shoot, your bullet spread, and you can see it when I hip fire. Let's find a surface that I can look at. There we go. You can see the whites of the my hip fire crosshairs. Notice how they grow. That still applies even when you're aiming down sight. You just don't see the actual crosshair. So that is what you need to burst fire for. That is why you got to fear the burst fire, and that is where you just got to spend time with your weapons. You notice on my channel I use all sorts of different weapons. That's actually a really bad technique. In terms of fine-tuning your abilities to use a specific weapon, but you want to find one, identify its recoil pattern. Does it recoil up and to the right? Does it recoil up and to the left? Does it have a balanced left and right, which means one bullet might go there and then it'll go there and 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 there. Does it gonna have that kind of recoil? Typically, I don't like that. People see it and think, oh, it's balanced. It's going to go left every single time or every other time, and then it'll go right, and that means I'm actually going to stay close. No. You're not going to be staying close to the middle. That actually makes it less predictable, because when it shoots over there, now you're having to actually move your gun left to counter for the right shot, and you're going to have to move your gun right to counter for the left shot. You don't want that. You want it to move in a specific direction, because if it's going up and to the right consistently, I know to pull my gun down and to the left consistently, and that'll keep it in there. So this one, that's what I was doing when I shot over there. Alright, I knew it went up and to the right, so I pulled down and to the left. And let's see where my gun actually ends up, where I'm aiming after I pulled down and to the left. Let's try to keep every single shot right on that point right there. And of course, there it goes. It evens out. All right, so this is where I ended up pulling down to. I pulled all the way down to that. All right. So you guys just, you need to understand how the recoil works, but especially the bloom. And that is what you need to really work on. Get in an empty server and just start working on that. And if you want to do what I do and bounce around from weapon to weapon, it's actually in some ways a good way to get used to the recoil, because you get you get a good understanding of all the different weapons. And if you ever run out of a weapon and have to pick up another kit, or let's say you're a medic and someone picks up your kit when you go down to revive you, so you're now stuck with whatever they have, it's a good way to always have a good edge with whatever weapon you might actually end up with. So get in a server, find the weapon that you want, find out what its recoil patterns are, and start understanding how much you need to burst. It's going to change at every single distance. If I'm shooting a person right there, like we see that tree, those right there are the perfect bursts you want. 3, 4 at most. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then start to release that trigger. Alright, and that's what you want. Okay, that's a really, really thin object, way off in the distance, and I'm using an LMG, one that's not, LMGs are not the best for accuracy. Assault rifles are. Alright, so get good with some of the guns that aren't that great, and when you use those guns that are great, you'll be much better. Alright, so use some of the LMGs, and that's a great way to get yourself to practice, because you have a constant stream of ammo, and they're just not as good as the assault rifles. So let's see, what else can I really go over? I mean, you got that bullet bloom. You need to just, learn it. You guys got to learn that. All right, there is no just simple answer that applies to everybody, because it's different for every person. There are different guns that I know how much I need to, or not exactly how much. You can't time it exactly unless you're just the most skillful player on the face of the planet. But I have a rough idea. Certain weapons I consider a 3 to 4 burst. Certain weapons I consider, a 4 to 5. Some I can go 10 shots at the range here. Now, if you're shooting someone that's right here, go full auto. That right there is so close. But I'm talking at these ranges in which you do have to burst. And so something like a Scar. Oh, there he is. Something like the Scar. The Scar L for the assault class, the way that its recoil works and bullet bloom works, you don't really need to burst all that much. The L85, you don't really need to burst all that much. The G3, even though it has pure vertical recoil for the most part, this guy's gonna just, oh man, but even though it's pretty much pure vertical recoil, almost no horizontal, it you still gotta work on that burst because of that bullet bloom. Just because the gun is going straight up doesn't mean the bullets are going straight up with it. They're still shooting out at the sides, shooting below where you're aiming, shooting above where you're aiming. So you've got to work on that. This guy's a rank 100, isn't he? And so, guys, get in an empty server. Hopefully it stays empty and you don't get somebody showing up messing with you and making you slur your words and things like that because you're just distracted by what they might do. Let's go over here, see if we can find him. He can hear my footsteps because I'm running around. I saw him, he was crouch walking and such. Oh, that punk! Not very nice. Not very nice. I didn't even want to shoot. Alright, well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, well, I guess you could call it gameplay, but, ask any questions that you guys have. Please ask any questions. Here we go. Let's rock out the Scar and, real quick, I'll see if I can just show you the difference. And here we go. Spawn me at the same place. Hopefully he doesn't kill me. Always get med packs. Anytime you want to stop, always get med packs. If you're on a long run and you're hurt, just take them, look up, and then throw and jump, and it'll heal you as it's in the air, and it'll heal you as you run past it. Anytime you see teammates at spots that look like they're staying, always throw med packs. That is the best thing for you. Alright, so let's see. We even got the bullet holes still there. Let's go with that spot over there. Look at that. I went through half my magazine, and it stayed in a smaller square than that did. All right, granted, I am pulling down, I am compensating for that recoil, but that bloom, that bullet bloom, is just so low. This is why I love this gun. Yes, it shoots slow. It's crap in close quarters, you know, things like that. But golly, it's just so solid of a gun at medium to long range because of that slow rate of fire. You know, it's not always such a bad thing. So, you know, guys, just check it out. That's what you get for killing me. Yeah, he was probably AFK somewhat. I bet he had like some menu up or something. But yeah, guys, like I said, you know, hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you have any comments of any kind, please ask away. If you guys want me to do a second video that looks at other weapon types and things like that, and just going through maybe with a person that's actually on TeamSpeak with me and run through like kind of do like a scrimmage and do some different situations, how you should handle it, just please ask anything. I would love to give you guys some good answers to any questions that you have. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Have a good one. Ta-ta.